This is the old school traveler. I'm back to tell you about a city that I like a lot. I like a lot. I like a lot, but not anymore. That is Savannah, Georgia. You know, I used to like Savannah. I've been there probably about 30, 40 times. When I go down from the up north down to Florida, I used to stay in either Charleston or Savannah. And Savannah just changed over the years. Here's what I mean. Savannah's not a bad city. It's got a lot of potential, but unfortunately, Savannah is the stepchild of Charleston. They are Charleston's stepchild. And what I mean by that is that Savannah wants to be like Charleston, but they're not like Charleston. Now, Charleston's all right, but Charleston's overrated. Savannah is not overrated. It's not overrated compared to Charleston. You can go to Savannah and you still can find a good meal. And the South still like buffets. I'm not a buffet fan at all. The entire South like buffets, and that's why they all fat. Yeah. They all fat now. You go down south, those people are big as hell. I didn't realize how big they were until I went down there again. Yeah, they big as hell. So saying that, Savannah is not as overrated as Charleston because the prices are kind of like expected. You know, Charleston, charge you $35 for shrimp and grits. Savannah charge you about $25 for the same thing. And see, that's what I expect because down south, the minimum wages are a lot lower than they are here. You're talking people down there making, $10, $12 an hour. They're happy as hell. Up here, you get shot because that's below minimum wage of about $20 an hour. So I say that, and in Savannah, traffic is not bad at all, unless you come from the airport. And it's not really bad. It's just more traffic than you probably expect in a city of that size. They got I-95 and they got I-16, then they got I-516, which goes through the downtown. But as far as being scenic, you can't beat Savannah. But the one thing I do like about Savannah is that you feel a breeze off the ocean. And you got Tybee Island and all these other places that not bad places to go to, but they don't really excite me. Now, I've been to all of Paula Dean's restaurants, the Two Boys and Mama, or whatever you call it, Paula Dean's restaurant, her brother, Uncle Bubba, Seafood Shack. I've been to all of them. Not a problem. And I've had good food at all of them. But the prices have changed quite a bit. Some have went out of business, but it's not a bad deal for the money you're going to get. So I've been to all of them. I enjoyed all of them. And my whole thing is that Savannah got good food. It's just that I don't think Savannah advertises the good food enough. Unlike Charleston, where they advertise every restaurant in the state on the interstates. And I'm going to tell you the good side of Savannah, the part I like the most about it, is not far from Buc-ee's in Brunswick. I still don't believe that restaurant food is less or equal to gas station food, but Savannah food scenery has changed. Yeah, their food scenery has changed. And like I said, Savannah used to be known for barbecue and good old Southern food, and now they're trying to be like Charleston. They're trying to give you this food that you're going to pay a lot of money for, and it's just not there. They're trying to be that way. Savannah, be yourself. You're a good old Southern city that everybody knows, heard of, and like, and you got the prettiest parks in the world. They're small parks, but they're very, very pretty, and you got them in squares. I love that about Savannah. You got a nice convention center. You would never get any of the major recording acts. They would never come to Savannah unless they're washed up, broken leg, drugged up, whatever you want to call it. They're not coming to Savannah. But all your B actors and C actors are going to come to Savannah. And that's what you got to take advantage of. Be yourself. Now, saying that, I don't think Savannah is a city that you can make it unless you already come from money. It's not very diverse. Not at all. It's not very, very, very diverse at all. That's not Savannah. Savannah is a very white-oriented city. Now, I want to say that the biggest employer in Savannah might be Gulfstream Airlines or Gulfstream Planes. It seemed like you can get a decent paying job at Gulfstream and make it in Savannah, and Gulfstream really don't care what race you are. I don't think, Gulfstream care about all that. I think that the people in Savannah may care about that, but it's not a very diverse city at all. Now, like I said, Savannah, the thing I like about Savannah is that you got the weather. Now, you get a few hurricanes, but most of them go to Charleston. Somehow they have Charleston on their mind. But Savannah's not very diverse. But you know what, though? When I look at Savannah, I don't know who makes it in Savannah and what they do for a living. Now, I can imagine that if you work on the port and you drive those 18-wheelers from the port to wherever they're going to, because Savannah's a big port. People don't think of Savannah as a big port, but it's a big port when you compare it to all the ports on the East Coast. Yes, Savannah's a very, very, very big port. So you can make it doing that as a living, but I don't know what else you can do to make a living in Savannah. And I'm going to say this, I don't know what you can do to make it in Savannah as a black, white, Indian, Asian person. It just don't have this business that stands out. Now, Savannah is not far from the military base. So maybe you can get that kind of living, or maybe you can retire from the military. But most people in Savannah who are doing good, they live in a place called Pooler. Pooler. They live in Pooler. Pooler is kind of like an upscale city in Savannah that's probably overpriced, but it's the only city in Savannah that's really upscale and doing good. Because regular Savannah, every place I look, when I see people in the service industry, which is cleaning hotel rooms, working in restaurants doing the real work, they were all black. And if that's your dream, I'm all for you. But they were all black. White managers, but that's not the kind of environment that I think of as a thriving city when you got to have and have-nots. The have-nots are going to take from the haves at some point in their life. So that's kind of interesting that I saw that, because I'm thinking to myself, if I don't come to Savannah with money, I can't make it. And, I went by a car dealer to get my tire looked at, and this car dealer was the biggest one in Savannah, and everybody there was white. The mechanics, the managers, the technicians, everybody. I'm thinking, okay, this is not those are some of the well-paying jobs in cities like Savannah. Yeah, those are some of the high-paying jobs in cities like Savannah. So Savannah is a place that if you want to go there, I know they got good food. Savannah got good food on US 17. You just got to drive and get that kind of food, because Savannah is known for their food. And I agree 100% that they got good food, but not in the city of Savannah. You got to drive about 15, 20 miles outside the city on US 17 and just go to certain areas and get the good food, because the food's there. And the food is not too bad price-wise. Hotels are very, very cheap. I'm talking about a hotel in Savannah for Embassy Suites is about half the price if you go to Maryland, D.C., and a third of the price you go to New York. Yeah, hotels are very, very, very cheap. So don't think of Savannah as this expensive place. And I stayed at the Embassy Suites by the airport. I paid about $120 a night. $120 per night. And you know what? It was not far from any other place I went to. Now, we had a power outage while we were in Savannah. And of course, it was where I was at. So the power outage for the hotel was out for about 4 hours. Yeah, it was out for a while. But, it came back on. I had no problems. It is what it is. And I enjoyed myself the entire time. And I went and ate at a Cracker Barrel that was about 10 miles away. But Savannah got a very good road system. Now the roads are bumpy as hell. Don't get me wrong, they're bumpy as hell. But Savannah got a very, very good road system that I had no problem with. They got 4 lanes on the major interstates, 3 on the other interstates, and that is what it is, But you will enjoy Savannah if you're there for sightseeing. See, like I said, I love the city parks. I did love them. Savannah is a pretty city. They got the oak moss that's hanging down, and your car's going. Well, my truck hit it a couple of times, but it was just pretty. And parking, to be honest about it, is not difficult downtown. You just got to ride around a little bit and look for it. But it's not difficult, though. And Savannah parking is very, very, very cheap. Very cheap. So if you want a pretty city in the South, Savannah is definitely the way to go. And I think it's a lot prettier than Charleston, personally. I think Charleston's overrated, overpriced. But Savannah is what it should be. It's just that people give Charleston a lot of credit for a lot of things. And I'm not saying they all are deserving, but Savannah is definitely deserving. And it's cheap to go there. You can go to Savannah in a whole week and spend $1,000. You can eat, hotel, everything for $1,000 a week. You can't beat that. You can't beat that at all. And like I said, it's easy to get around. And traffic is never bad no matter when you travel around Savannah. Where Charleston is a little bit different. Charleston traffic seems to get bad during rush hour, but Charleston rush hour is not as bad as the rush hour up in the Northeast, and Savannah don't really have a rush hour. No. Now, they got a lot of construction going on a lot of different places along the interstates, and I want to say 516, or maybe it's I-16, but they got a lot of construction going on around the interstates, but it's not bad at all. You still can ride 60 miles an hour. It's not like you're going to go from 70 to 10 like you will in the Northeast. It's nothing like that at all. So that's something you just got to keep in your mind when you ride around Savannah. And Savannah got a lot of houses that are so, so cheap. I'm talking about Savannah, 300 grand. You'll be more than welcome to spend that kind of money in Savannah and get a nice semi-mansion. Charleston, you're lucky to get a room in a mansion for that kind of money. But Savannah got a lot of people, as far as workers, and employment in Savannah is not the most easiest to get, but you can get a job there. And like I said, I don't see where anybody can make it from the ground up in Savannah. I don't care what your race is, but making it from the ground up. And when you go downtown, you can tell where you're at because almost every restaurant in downtown Savannah is, it's either seafood, steak, or Southern Comfort. You don't see a variety of Indian and other types of food. It just do not exist in Savannah. So Savannah is one of the places that if you go there, you definitely want to, hang out and see the sights because even the Riverwalk in Savannah is pretty as hell and cheap as hell too. It's very, very cheap. They got a lot of bars and restaurants on the Riverwalk. You can't beat that. It's easy. It's easy going. It's very, very easy going. So I did that, and the drone shots will show you the Riverwalk from across the river on the Savannah, at the Savannah Convention Center. This drone shots would show you that, and it's a lot of things to do to keep you busy, and the Riverwalk really doesn't get busy until probably after 3:00. I don't know why 3:00 is a special time, but it's definitely busy after 5. But it don't have that tourism feel like Charleston got. It has more of that we're family type feel. And now some of the places to go eat at are very, very small, and the food's not very, very good. But like I said, I did the Paula Deen stuff with her brothers, Uncle Bubba, and her sons and all that. Did all that, and that was not a bad deal for a buffet, back in the day. But now, she still got her places going, And I'm not a person who really gets into politics a lot. I just get into food and travel. That's what I'm gonna tell you about on this channel. Food and travel, and I tell you how I do what I do, how I do what I do, and why I do what I do. It's just what it is. But Savannah is a great, great southern city if you want to just chill and relax and not be YouTubing and not be on Bravo channel and all that kind of stuff. But it's easy to get around. It's easy to have fun and parking. The more I think about it, I don't think I paid to park in Savannah anywhere. I don't think I did. I don't think I paid to park anywhere. All I know is that I went to all these little squares. They got parks named after certain individuals from the Civil War or Revolution War. I don't recall where they're from, but they got a whole bunch of them. And, it's just one of the things that you yourself is going to have to make a decision on Savannah. I stayed by the airport, but downtown Savannah is just as nice. I just didn't want to be there at night. That was just me and my decision. And because I'm not into ghost tours, I'm not into all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that you are wrong if you're into all that kind of stuff. I'm just not looking for ghosts. Charleston had ghost tours, but like I said, Savannah problem is people equate Savannah with Charleston, and they're not the same. Everything's different, including the price and how they eat. And I like, when I go to Savannah, I like the Southern comfort food, and I'm happy with that kind of stuff. I don't need all this other type of stuff that they have everywhere else. So, and plus, Savannah prices were a lot more reasonable than Charleston. They had different foods, but the prices were like night and day. So it was not like it was the, half the price, a third of the price. No, they had different foods, and they had more what I call Southern cuisine. When I go to other cities in the South, I don't see a lot of Southern cuisine because a lot of them wants to also be this upscale cuisine because they want to evolve. But what made you famous was you had the food from the South, whether it's Gouda, or whether it's Savannah food, whether it's African American food, whether it's barbecue. You had all that already there, and that's what made you famous. And so my attitude is kind of like just stick with what made you famous. Don't try to change, because Savannah I did not see one food truck. Not one food truck the entire time I was in Savannah. I didn't see any food trucks. And I'm fine with that because you had good restaurants. So I am fine with not seeing any food trucks. But if you want to evolve and do other things, then you better come out the gate smoking and being the best there is in the world at that. Because if you leave your native foods and your native everything, you got the foods. You got the ocean breeze. You got the ocean breeze. And you got the port. You got a lot of positive things, And now I know that some people think in Savannah, they think of themselves as, hey, we don't have the what's the word I want to say? We don't have the diversity that we should have for Savannah. Savannah's not diverse. Don't get me wrong. It's not diverse at all. And if you think it is, then you're going to find yourself with some problems. But Savannah has the ability to be diverse, but I think a lot of people in Savannah is just stuck in their ways from the old days. And I'm going to tell you something too. Savannah, you got some nice hotels, nice places to go. Don't use the word plantation in anything you're trying to sell to somebody who's not from the South. Because plantation is a very offensive word to a lot of us. I would not stay at a hotel or Airbnb or anything or visit anything with the name plantation in it. That does not harbor great memories for me. Now, some people may say, oh, it's just a word. No, it's also a way of life used to be. So I'm never going to be in that life used to be the word plantation. I'm not spending my money. I'm not doing anything. And you know what? For some people, it's all right. For me, it's not all right. So my whole thing is that if you're going to use the word plantation, don't talk to me. I'm never staying there. Don't try and sell me your products. I don't want to hear it. People say, oh, it's just a good old Southern word. Good. I'm not from the South. Born there, left there, did that, saw that, never going to do that. That's just me. Okay, this is your old school traveler telling you about Savannah, Georgia. And would I go back again? Hell yeah. Would I enjoy it? Hell yeah. Would I eat? Do I love the food? Yes. I didn't see a lot of negative things about Savannah outside that it's not culturally diverse. And I don't think you can make it from birth unless you get birth with money. That's how Savannah rolls. Pretty city, nice city. And I'm going back again at some point because it's on I-95 and I travel that route a lot. I-95, I-85, I-20, I go that route a lot. So this is your old school traveler telling you that, Savannah, check it out. It's worth the money because it's cheap and the food's good and the people are pretty nice. Peace out, old school traveler.